This is Dave Meltzer with Entrepreneurs, the Playbook, and I have Anil Srivatsa here. Unlike anyone else, he is the CEO who travels around the world helping people. That's about as easy as I can say it. And I asked him how I should announce him on here, and he told me, I'm just the guy that's driving around helping people. And I had to have him on the podcast because a playbook to success a lot of times has to do with making a lot of money to help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. You've made a lot of money in your career.
Actually not.
Not good.
Not
Tell me about it.
Because making money is not where I ever started my career. I was always part of startups. And you don't make money when you do startups. I like to learn new things and disrupt new things and disrupt things that otherwise, just create a status quo. And money is an enabler. I think what's real happiness comes from the inside, and we have a purpose in life. And when you have that purpose, the entire universe, as Paulo Coelho says, I've never read his book. I keep hearing him.
Yeah.
Other people quoting him. It says that the universe conspires when you want to do something really bad. And I do want to do something really bad. In this case, it's what I'm doing, which I'm sure you'll get me into it. I don't want to.
Exactly. And I think that's important because I live by a mathematical equation of conspiracy in that respect. It's what I pay attention to and put my intention on, my pursuit on, becomes a coincidence.
Correct.
Right?
And where I differ from that is I don't believe in coincidence, because I think everything is designed and choreographed, and we're just, we're like a flash mob coming out of the woodwork and playing our part. And as long as you're conscious enough to understand and recognize that, and then play your part from there. Every one of us is in that place, but not all of us has the consciousness to actually recognize it. So coincidence is great, but as long as you surrender to the feeling of, listen, you're right. In my career, I had a great salary and all that, but now I make a fraction of it. But I'm 100 times happier now than I was when I had that money. So money is not what it is. It's achievement. And what is that achievement? It had to do with people. And I think love, you've seen the movie Interstellar?
Of course.
Well, see, there's a very interesting concept that was put in there, but not enough time spent on it, is love makes the world go around. That's the fifth dimension. And if that doesn't exist, I think none of us would. And as long as, if you're in sync with that, and I think I'm getting in there, I'm not there yet, but that's driving me. And love for humanity at the macro level is what organ donation is about. And if that doesn't exist, the organ donation will never exist. It is a direct act of love.
Because, in my opinion, an organ donation is the ultimate faith in we are one. Right? That we're all together.
We're all together in this.
And how did you transition, from your high-level executive career into shifting the paradigm so that you are living your entire life in the pursuit of service to others?
Well, the transition, obviously, there's a life incident, an incident that happens, and that changes the course of your orbit. Happened to me too. I never thought of organ donation as deeply as I do now, but then, I've been an active athlete and sports guy all my life. I run marathons. I play, high level of cricket, and I've been in the cricket business. My brother is a golfer. He's a really single handicap golfer, but he's a neurosurgeon by profession. And we thought we were invincible. We all think we are until it happens to you. And then we're just as mortal as anyone else. And that's what happened to my brother. And he came to me asking for a kidney. And he was 47, and I'm thinking, why would this happen to you at this age? And that's when our mortality struck and said, why wouldn't it happen to you? You're as human as the next guy is. And here I am in a space where I had to step up to see if I could save him. And I knew the one thing that drove me to say yes was my love for him, nothing else. It was so easy to say yes because of how I felt for him. But it wasn't as easy to go through with it. That's when the story begins. And that's, when love is confronted with things that are like walls. And that wall was nothing but fear.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you break that fear down? And how do you pass, if loving somebody or something is an exam, are you going to pass this one?
And so obviously the fear was for your own existence.
Well, yeah, it was. It's like, you know what? I'm scared for my brother. He could be dying.
Yeah.
But I'm scared for myself. Will I live the life that I used to live after saving him? So giving my kidney was not an option to say no. It was a yes.
Right.
But then questions of what if I can't do this? What if I can't do that? And that's usually where people fall off the wagon. And that's why we have 1 million people plus on dialysis.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are we going to question, is there enough love in their family?
And to that end, what percentage of the people have a life that's normal or above normal after they donate?
Oh, in the high 90s.
Yeah.
See, and nobody knows that.
Well, they do now. That's why we have you on here.
Because, see, I was just recently at the World Transplant Games, which happened this year in August. And I represented India, which is the T-shirt I'm wearing, actually. So we were 14 of us from India that represented India. Although I'm American, I had the choice to do so because my surgery was in India. So I said, okay, America had 150 people participating. India had 14, minus me, 13. So my brother and I both participated. And there we saw 2,687 or close by athletes who were recipients. And there were less than 75 donors. So I asked the organizers, why don't I see more donors here? Because if the idea is to promote to inspire people to become organ donors, he said, yeah, we'd like to show the world how these recipients are doing. I'm like, I don't think the donors care. They care about how they're doing. And if they see more role models out there, they're probably more open to coming and saying, yes, let me save a life of someone I love. And there's not that role model there. Because the recipients, let's face it, honestly, they're going to hang on to a straw if it gives them hope. Right? They're going to take whatever they get.
Right.
But here the donor is giving up a fit body. And he wants to know, am I going to be okay?
And over 90-some% are more than okay.
But nobody knows that. And nobody sees them in public.
Where did you get the faith, or, there comes a time when you made the decision initially without probably thinking, just out of pure love, of course I'll do that.
Just love.
And then the explanations come in and the procedures come in and fear starts building. Was there ever a time where you wanted to back out, and what pushed you through, if so?
There were times, I wouldn't say I would have backed out. There's one thing that would have prevented me from doing it. And that's if my life insurance didn't pay out, if something were to happen to me on the table. Because I had young kids at that time, and now they're college.
You weren't willing to risk their futures.
Yeah, at least that. I had a responsibility to my family as well.
Yeah.
As much as I had it to my brother. And luckily for him and me, they said, we're good.
Yeah.
Right? I'd paid enough insurance for 7 years. I think that's the minimum. And I was good after that. So other than that, I felt a lot of fear and resentment. I didn't know where that came from, but resentment started to show up. Resentment towards my brother.
Yeah, sure.
To a point where...
Is he an older brother or younger?
He's a year older.
Year older.
Yeah, so we're practically really twins. So
yeah.
We're really close, yeah. And I started questioning his decisions. I said, are you taking care of yourself? Did you come to me as a last resort, or did you come to me because I was easy?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm going to do for you? And do you understand how to take care of it after that? So it was almost like I wanted him to become a dialysis patient. I wanted him to go in there and get hooked up to that machine, because that's probably going to teach him never to want to be there again. And so when I give him the kidney, he will take care of it like it were his life. And that's really where everything, from resentment, it came up to becoming, okay, it's time. I think this is my calling. I have to do this for him, because who knows, he may be, he's a great life to save. He's a neurosurgeon.
Yeah.
Right. Other than the fact that I
You're
love him, he's saving other lives as a pay forward,
Yeah.
And I told him, I'll give you my kidney, but I need something from you. And he said, what is it? So I want you to do one free surgery every month of somebody who cannot afford and he's a really, really well-known neurosurgeon, right? So he said, Anil, I'll do 3, not 1. So I said, that's enough.
Wow.
Pay back, pay forward. And since then, I found when I did it, it wasn't a big deal. Yeah, 2 months I was in pain, but that pain was worth it than to have the pain of him not being around me for the rest of my life, had I not done it for him. And after that, I was back to normal. I was back to running the marathon. I was back to doing all my gym, whatever I did. I hike, trek, whatever I did to be active. And that brought a question in my head. Why are more people not doing this? Why are there 1 million people on dialysis when they didn't have to be on it? Is there enough love in the family? Or was there something greater? And that greater, I gave the benefit of doubt to love. I said that something greater was that big damn wall of fear.
Yeah.
Of what will happen to me. I looked around for role models, didn't find any. I spoke to 2 people that gave a kidney before I got the courage and strength. I said, okay, if I got it from 2 people, can I become the strength of 1 million people? To put myself out there and show them that here's how active you can be if you want to. That's when this whole journey of mine began. Could I be running the marathon?
And why did you decide, you can explain what you are doing to raise awareness.
Why did I decide to drive?
Yeah. Well, tell people what you are doing.
You're in the marketing business, David.
Yeah, well, tell them what you are doing because we haven't really got into that.
So what I'm doing is I'm driving around the world in my own car, and I'm reaching out to communities as I drive and talk to them about my journey, and also talking about organ donation through my journey, of not just being fearless to save somebody's life if they need it by live organ donation, which is either a liver or a kidney, but even after somebody passes away. Why don't you gift that life to somebody before your body is just trashed, literally?
Yeah.
Right? In our culture, we burn our body. In some faiths, you bury them, right? So before that happens, there's millions of people waiting for that organ to be living a better life. If the concept of taking ashes, this whole ashes thing, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, is basically saying that we are going back into the universe. If we can go back as ashes, why can't we go back as some parts of us to somebody else? And they're part of the universe as much, but you're helping them as well. So that story has to be told because there's so many misconceptions that surround it. People say that, yes, I've signed up to be an organ donor in my driver's license. But what happens after that? I don't think anybody understands that. They think it's magic. Hey, I've signed up. I'm an organ donor. Yeah, you're a good guy, but what do you think happens after? Oh, I don't know. And nobody knows because nobody talks about it. If you look around with all the infomercials or commercials or PSAs that come out, nobody talks about what happens after you sign up. Everyone says sign up.
What happens?
And across the board.
I don't know. What happens?
Across the board, nothing happens if you don't tell your family.
So it has to be a family member.
You have to have this discussion at home with your family, signing up or not. Because let's assume the sign up, in America at least, if you sign up, the license helps when you're in an accident. And what percentage are?
Right.
Most of them die either in the hospital or at home. And if it's at home, who's telling anybody that this person's an organ donor? Because if, 5 days ago in the Bay Area, I lost a dear friend. We were supposed to have breakfast, and he passed away the night before.
Wow. And
I asked his son, I said, listen, he's one of my biggest contributors. I know he wants to be an organ donor. What'd you do? So, he was? And it was too late when I asked him that question because the 20 hours had passed. Up to 20 hours, your organs are viable for it to be harvested or procured, as they call it. And the son didn't know. He didn't have that conversation. That's the secret sauce.
Yeah, that's really important.
And even if you don't sign up, but you have the conversation, it can still make you more viable as an organ donor than when you didn't have the conversation and signed up. So it's just this. If there's 1,000 people that signed up, only 2 or 3 go by and actually make it to be an organ donor.
Because of communication.
That didn't happen. And nobody's said that that's what's important.
Right. Wow. And beyond the communication, obviously you have fear, communication. Is there something else that you feel as you're traveling around educating people that can really assist in impacting these 1 million people out there on dialysis?
Well, yeah. Support champions like us because we've taken our lives out of our rut and brought this into this path. But we need to be empowered and powered, which is why I've actually made this entire journey of mine a crowdfunded one. I am at the mercy of people, literally. In fact, I was supposed to cross over into, so I'm driving the world. I've driven 43 countries across 100,000 kilometers so far. I've been on the road for about 400 plus days. And I'm heading down now towards Argentina, and then back up to New York, and then into Africa. So I'm going to be on the road for a few years now. But all of this is powered by people who contribute to my GoFundMe page or my Facebook fundraiser. As little as $1, $4, $5, $10. But the reason I ask for this is when they put that money in, they're involved. And when they're involved, they talk about it. When they talk about it, at least the idea of organ donation is now starting to spread into their own communities. It's not going so well for me, which is why my journey has halted. Right? So tomorrow, instead of going to Mexico, I'm actually going towards Dallas, where I have more talks, because it's these talks that give me people. And these people, I have a little box or a hat that I pass around, and that just goes in there. So I have a better chance of doing it while I'm here in America than when I cross the border down to South America and Central America. So it's halting me. But as long as I have talks coming up, I will go anywhere for it. So now I'm going to make a detour into Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Austin, and maybe if I can collect enough by then. And it's not much I'm looking for. So if you look at the cost-benefit analysis, now I'm wearing my corporate hat and the marketing and finances. I'm seeking $25,000 because it's just gas money. You do the math, it comes up to that much. Okay, I drive a hungry car, but it's a car that'll keep me safe because I live in it, I cook in it, and that's where my wife and I travel together. Yeah. And we live on top of the car. And I have documented proof that I've saved at least 4 lives in this journey. That's $6,000 per life.
Wow.
That's nothing.
I love your analysis.
That's nothing.
So much sacrifice from start to finish, if you look through the story of what you're doing. But one of the things that I think people may not realize that I do, I have 4 children of my own. And you're talking about being on the road for years to help impact all these people. What are your children doing? Are they visiting you? Do you know, obviously we have FaceTime and phones, but, you know, that's a lot of time to be spent away from.
Well, there's a law in India that came in the way and became a big wall for me. And that was one of the tests my love had to pass. And that law in India is that I need the consent of my wife to be able to give a kidney to my brother, which in America is not the case, right? And she wouldn't sign. She wouldn't sign because she was afraid. Again, fear. She was afraid if I died on the table, and they gave her the statistics that 1 in 3,000 people die on the table. And she was like, how do you know he's not number 3,000? And she was paranoid. She said, I ain't signing.
What'd your brother think of that?
Well, my brother started a huge drama on the other side saying, if she doesn't agree, I'm not taking it from you. I'm like, dude, you want to live or not? Just stay out of this. Let me figure this one out. So I just told him to stay out. You know? Yeah. And here I'm telling my wife, I said, why don't we divorce then? Because the only reason you have the right is because you're my wife. She said, listen, I have no problem you giving the kidney. I just don't want to sign because if something happened and I signed, it's on my conscience.
Yeah.
So God, I was in a pickle.
It's such a complex issue, right?
I was in a pickle.
Yeah.
And so I left home. I ran away into the Himalayas, okay, to where the Mount Everest lives, right? And I went away there as a monk, 15 days just walking around trying to clear my head. No network, no phones, nothing. It was just me and nature. When I got the call, my wife was like frantic. Look, your brother's gone into dialysis. You need to come and give his kidney. It was like a 180-degree turn on attitude. She said, but you're not signing. No, I am. Like, what changed your mind? My kids. Oh. So my kids were 14 and 16 at the time. And they told their mothers, you know, Mom, don't be afraid, because if you're afraid for us, we are confident nothing's going to happen. He wants to save his brother. Let him do it. And what if I want to save my brother? This is my daughter asking my wife. What if I want to save my brother, and would you not let me give a kidney to him if he needed one? And that was like the zinger. Yeah. And she realized, like, why is she afraid? And if the kids are going to be brave and giving her the strength, then she became one with the kids. The 3 of them then became part of my strength. And they signed off. And that's how my kids are with me. Today they're in college in Rutgers University in New Jersey. Yes. And we talk on the phone. The first journey.
Let's be honest. I have teenage daughters, so I know they don't want to talk to us that much anyway.
Well, no, at least my kids do. They actually do. And
that's nice.
In our first journey, when I embarked on this journey, I drove from India in Bangalore to Scotland. It took us 78 days. And I took my kids with me. I had one apartment that I had invested in. I sold it. I said, what use is that for me now? And it's not coming. I may as well just sell that and take the kids on an education they'll never get in any university they go to. And we went on that road trip together, and it was great. It was great. When we finished, my kids said one thing to me, and that was the money shot. His dad, we're less cynical about the world now. And that was enough, because all that bad news we see on television. But when we drive, we see all the good news. We're just the same people across borders, wanting the same kind of harmony and good life and being good people. The kinds of help we got from strangers on the way was unprecedented. Maybe I'm addicted to that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, where can people donate?
Well, I have a GoFundMe page, and my entire journey is called the Gift of Life Adventure. There's a lot of Gift of Lives, but Gift of Life Adventure points to me and what I do with my organization. We're a nonprofit in India and in the U.S. We're registered here in New Jersey. I've actually registered for a 501c3 as well. Hopefully I'll get it. But I don't have it right now. Had I had it, this would have been a no-brainer. Everyone asks me for that. I'm like, listen, I don't have it. So, but that's Gift of Life Adventure on GoFundMe, or if you go to Facebook, Gift of Life Adventure, you'll see the links to that. I have Venmo, I have PayPal. It's all either on Facebook or it's on the GoFundMe page.
What an interesting and impactful. So, you know, some of this like my life has been present the whole time and never asked the questions that I needed to be asking.
Have you had the conversation at home, David?
I have. Donation, my wife and I both on the back of my license, and I thought that was it. And I would have to be honest, if something should happen to either of us, nothing would happen. Because we've never had
the conversation.
Right, which is going to be the first conversation this evening, because my wife, it is very critical with our just own beliefs of oneness and love, that, you know, we believe in the ashes of. I think it's a blessing that I'm able, you know, I'm hoping that I live to 111.
Well, yeah. And see,
and nobody will be able to use any of my stuff.
The other misconception is, see, the least you can do is you can donate your eyes.
Yeah.
Right? There are so many people
with
corneal blindness. Exactly. You're a great eye.
Yeah.
But again, people find reasons to say no because they have no information. First of all, you know, one eye of yours can give sight to 3 people because the one cornea has 3 layers.
Wow.
So that's 6 in your 2 eyes.
There's so much to learn here.
And even if you have cataract, you can donate your eyes. Even if you are retinally blind, you can donate your eyes because your cornea has to be healthy. If you're 80, 90 years old, you can still donate your eyes.
Wow.
You can donate your skin for the burn victims after you die. You can donate your elbow or your kneecaps and the bones. You know, if you go to the dentist's office and do a bone filling, it's actually real human bone, by the way, processed.
Oh, wow.
And it triggers the bone growth in your own body by putting that in your teeth.
Phenomenal.
So somewhere it's coming from it. You know?
I think the biggest lesson, though, you know, too, as the playbook goes, is, you know, I was taught always, you know, you have one question to ask yourself. Do you live in a hostile or a peaceful environment? And the lessons here is we live in love. And you are living proof of someone that has put faith in what they want out of the universe and taking the action to back that up.
My sitting here, David, is a direct result of that.
And
we don't know each other, but somebody we know brought us together.
Who loves you and loves me, and I am sure you and I will be long time friends because I share.
I'm
your
hoping
beliefs.
This is the beginning of a great friendship.
Absolutely, and I certainly appreciate what you're doing and how you've changed my life in a very short amount of time. I'm sure the millions out there as well. Here we have Anil Srivatsa as well as Dave Meltzer with Entrepreneurs, the organ donor version of Entrepreneurs, the Playbook.